All right, guys, another episode of Shellonomics. Shredder Triumphant is not the end. We are entering what is called the Red Sky Saga. Our good friend TMNT Dare Talk Christian is here, and he's going to explain why it was called the Red Sky. For Germany, he's also going to explain, too, that he didn't get these episodes for a while. We're going to find out the episode got a little bit grittier. My first reaction with the new theme song, a little slower, a little more violent, a little darker. And finally, Shredder is also seen once again as the main threat. If you guys listen to our other episodes on Spotify and YouTube, we talked about Shredder feeling like he was just there. I mean, he really wasn't productive as a villain anymore. He wasn't doing anything. And now he's back, baby. And he's going to shock everybody in this first episode, get Shredder. But Christian, feel free to give us a little intro on this Red Sky Saga.
Yeah, so now we're talking about the last three seasons, season 8, 9, and 10 of the classic cartoon. And these are called, in the fandom, they are called the Red Sky seasons because the sky is always red. It's always like dark, the sun is setting. It always looks like this. And I guess it was because at the time the biggest TV shows were like Batman the animated series or the X-Men series, and they were a little bit more serious. They tried to be a little more serious, a little darker, a little bit more gritty, and the Turtles, they tried to keep up with that. So they tried to take the Turtles in a new direction, like get a little bit more serious because, hey, if you remember the last few seasons, the Turtles, it was mostly fun. The most was for the comedy, the action, if it was there. It was not, hand-to-hand combat. It was mostly like throwing pizzas at the bad guys and stuff like this. And so, it's kind of, sort of back to the roots, a little more serious. And as you mentioned earlier, for a very long time, I thought that season 7 was the last season of the show because I've never heard of the Red Sky seasons until they finally showed them on German TV. Years later, it was like in 1999, they finally showed the last 3 seasons on a completely different channel with a complete new cast. Everything was different. And I was really surprised. Like, wait, there's more to this, and yeah, so that's like the intro to the Red Sky seasons.
Yeah, and no pizza. Can you believe it? No more pizza. They gave it up.
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
They wanted to get back into fighting shape, right? You know, after all, they wanted to get rid of the turtle bod, the turtle dad bod.
a little redesign there with the Turtles. And yeah, which brings us to the first episode of season 8, which is Get Shredder. And yeah, as we remembered in the last episode, Shredder, Krang, Beaver, and Rocksteady were stranded on Earth. The Technodrome is gone. It was sent to Dimension X, but they were stuck on Earth. And so they tried to find a new place to stay, find new technology to get in contact with the Dimension X, with the Technodrome. And through all this, a new bad guy appeared called Berserko, who turned out to be an old buddy of Krang called Drakus, who together with Krang designed the original Technodrome. And as I mentioned in earlier episodes, I always liked when we get a bit more background to Krang, because we still don't know much about him. And yeah, this is really, in this episode, Get Shredder, they really set the tone for everything that comes later, because now we're serious. And we see this seriousness at the end of the episode, because Shredder says the Turtles have to bring him Krang, because Krang was kidnapped by Berserko. And if they are too late, he will blow up the Channel 6 building. And as we know, after 7 seasons, it's always the Turtles come in the last minute, everything's fine. And the Turtles do come in the last minute. Actually, they're like 1 minute too late, and I think it's Raphael who says, "Ha, I know you were bluffing." And then Shredder actually blows up the Channel 6 building. He really destroys it. And because, as Shredder says, I'm never bluffing. He's serious now. He's a serious threat now. He blows up the Channel 6 building. I mean, nobody was in there. They were rescued before. But this was a shocker for me because I never expected this to happen. Like, okay, Shredder, whoa, you're back to your bad guy routine, and no more choking. Yeah.
How did you like the fighting sequences? Did you appreciate how they improved? And how'd you like the look of the new Turtles? And also, what was your thought of the new theme song where they put the movie in there? Did you think they were going to show movie clips throughout the episodes now, too, with those little cuts?
It was kind of weird that they like put in this movie scene, like from the movie that was 4 years old at the time. But yeah, I think once again they tried something different. It's like a remix of the classic theme song, like with this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it's got some good rhythm, but hey, the classic is the classic. But still, it worked for what the series was now, I think. And yeah, so the redesign of Turtles, they looked a little more, yeah, a little more serious. Like the eyes, they were, how should I put it? They looked a little bit more angry, not like goofy turtles, funny turtles. I mean, they still had fun. They still had their jokes, but we just looking at them, we see, okay, they are more serious. There's more seriousness now with these turtles. And yeah, I I enjoyed that they tried something different after, yeah, 7 seasons, and it was entertaining. It
Yeah.
was cool.
And we talked about this before too. Before we get into our next episode, Christian, this was the only other version of the opening you've seen, right? You didn't get the one that the Americans got in season 4, where they're kind of throwing through like sewer pipes and Michelangelo jumps into a pile of foot soldiers.
Yeah, that's right. For throughout all 7 seasons, we always had like just one intro, like one theme song. I never saw that second intro that started in season 4. Um, and when I first saw it, I was like, "Ooh, this is something different. I've never seen this before." And now we get a completely different intro. Um, by the way, the original theme song was dubbed in German, so it was also sung in German, but not here. In like at the start of season 8, the new theme song wasn't dubbed. We got also the English theme song. We got the same thing that you did.
Wow. So that's why you got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles down your head. Fantastic. And
Oh yeah.
a quick note here, guys. I just love how Leonardo was trying to swear at Shredder as best he could in a PG episode, staring him right in the face and saying, "You miserable maggot." He really wanted to let loose, but he couldn't in a PG, Y-rated 7 show. But here we go to my favorite episode of the entire Red Sky series, Wrath of the Rat King. Walk us through this one, Christian.
Yeah, as the title suggests, it's the return of the Rat King and the final episode of the Rat King. And he also got a redesign with like a long coat. He looked, well, it looked pretty cool. He's also like a little more serious, like a little darker. And in this episode, he works together with Shredder to keep the turtles busy. And yeah, he even gets some of his rats mutated into giant rats, and he attacks the turtles' lair because suddenly he knows where the turtles live. It's like suddenly he's standing in their living room, attacks the turtles, and it's crazy. And yeah, and this is the final episode with the Rat King. In the end, the turtles, of course, defeat the Rat King, and pretty much everything is back to normal. Yeah.
I love this episode. I love how Splinter talks to everybody. I love the giant rats. The Rat King double crosses Shredder. Just so many plot twists. Very well written episode. The reason this one stands out too is this is one I actually remember watching as a kid. I was on Saturday morning. It was right before a soccer game. And I'm like, oh, what is this? Because I didn't see Get Shredder. I only saw this episode. And I'm like, why is the Rat King wearing a hat? I thought he looked great. And I think you mentioned before too, when we were talking prior, he almost looks like the 2012 Rat King, right? With the hat and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally. With the long coat and the hat. Yeah.
yeah, I liked him a lot. And now we're gonna get into not Megatron from Transformers, Megavolt in State of Shock.
Yeah, in this episode, we meet a new bad guy called Megavolt, who is this dude who can like shoot electricity. And yeah, he's got a gang of ninjas who are stealing stuff for him. And the turtles, of course, try to stop him. But because it's ninjas, it's a little bit more difficult. And yeah, one thing I forgot to mention is that after the destruction of the Channel 6 building, uh, Channel 6 was still on air at a different place, and Bern Thompson was doing his best J. Jonah Jameson impression by yeah, trying to blame everything on the turtles. Like the turtles, they were responsible. They for the destruction. They are bad guys, and so this is like something that goes through this whole season. And yeah, in this episode, we also meet a new group called Darkwater. They're like a group of soldiers. And it's funny because in the current IDW comics, there's also a group called Darkwater. So this is like a really deep cut that they did at IDW. I mean, they always do this and they know what they're doing. And yeah, in the end, like Megavolt gets his hand on some new technology, which turns him into some kind of electro bug creature. And yeah, but in the end, of course, the turtles defeat him. But the overall story I always thought was very interesting with him, like being a failed experiment for Darkwater. So he tried to get revenge on them. So yeah, it's a good story.
I thought it was very good as well. And then we go right into a triple header, almost like a mini series here with Cry Havoc, Havoc in the Streets, and Enter Crocus, who I call this one dude a Thanos ripoff, just because he kind of looks like Thanos to me. He's big, he's stocky, he looks like the Infinity War comic Thanos, this gentleman Titanus. And what does Havoc mean?
I don't remember what it actually stands for, but Havoc is a group of mutants that appear in New York City, and and the leader is, as you said, Titanus, which is this a big green blob mutant. And at first, they tell the turtles that they are the good guys. They just want to help mutants. They want to do good things, and the turtles believe them. But of course, they find out that they are actually bad guys, and Titanus wants to steal some technology. Um, and it turns out over the course of this three-parter that he wants to create a time portal, like a time machine. And then Krakos appears, who is like this cop from the future, who at first is like all mutants are evil, so he also fights the turtles, but then he finds out, okay, the turtles are the good guys, so they work together to fight against Titanus, who turns out to be also from the future, like he was banished from the future to the present time, and that's the reason why he wants to create this time machine to get his army and his technology from the future to the present to take over the world. But in the end, the turtles and Krakos defeat him and throw him through the time portal to prehistoric times, and there he's lost forever, and that's the end of that story.
So, for those who wanted to get your trivia on, I would not have known this if it wasn't for Wikipedia. Havoc stands for Highly Advanced Variety of Creatures. What a random name for the Cry Havoc. And this was also
Okay.
one of the VHS tapes that actually was one we could get back in the day. Again, Christian and I have said in other episodes here, we didn't have the full series, guys. We only got these through VHS tapes back in the day, which were, I think, maybe 2 episodes per tape, except for the Incredible Shrinking Turtles. That one I think had maybe like 4 for the miniseries. But yeah, these are the only ones we were able to watch on replay. So let's go into our next one here, though. And this one I believe was also on. Let's see here. We are into what's this one coming up now? Christian, walk us through this one.
Cyber Turtles is the next episode.
Here we go. Yes.
And in this episode, some aliens appear, the Glaxonians, and they have like this powerful energy crystal. And of course, Krang wants to get his hands on it. So they attack the Glixonians, but they have this cyber armor, which turns them into like giant mecha creatures. And the turtles also get their hands on this armor, which turns them into the cyber turtles, which we had action figures of, this like cybernetic armor. But in this episode, they are like gigantic. They look like, I don't know, the giant robots, kind of, sort of, from the Pacific Rim movies, and the turtles are in there fighting with them. And yeah, this is also a special episode because it's the final appearance of Casey Jones. Because Casey Jones appears, and he's working together with April to get the crystal back from Krang and Shredder, while the turtles are busy keeping his city safe from the Glixonians. So yeah, this is like the goodbye to Casey Jones too.
How did you feel with Casey Jones actually going against Shredder one-on-one? Because there's actually a weird weapon we talked about yesterday that was shocking. It wasn't a golf club. What in the world was in his bag of sports equipment?
Yeah, that was always really unusual, even back then when I saw it, because suddenly Casey Jones pulls out a sword out of his sports bag and starts a fight with Shredder, which was, yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, it's Casey, who is like this brawler guy, and then there's Shredder, who's a master ninja. Some people say like, Casey would never stand a chance. But hey, it's his final episode. Cut him some slack. He deserved to fight Shredder in his final appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? He's seen Shredder before, and I think when he said in his other episode he's going against the big boss man, that was referring to Krang. But good to see that Casey Jones was there one more time. Again, this was also on VHS tape, and I'm with you. I enjoyed these action figures. These were like some of the last cool ones to get. I was just sad that Michelangelo's mech had to get shut down. I think he was the only turtle that got eliminated in the skirmish with these guys. But also, what were your thoughts on Bebop and Rocksteady getting back to who they deserve to be? You know what I mean? They were actually just brute force bad guys. They weren't as incompetent as before.
Yeah, that's totally right. Because in the season, they are also being more of a threat to the turtles. I mean, they're still idiots, but they can like fight a little bit. They get a bit more serious. They're taken a little bit more serious, which totally works in the tone of this episodes. And it's good. As I said before, it's good to go a little bit back more to the roots, a little bit more serious. Still, it's a fun show, but it's getting a little bit more serious. Not every bad guy is like a joke, and so yeah, I'm really happy to see them, being taken serious finally again.
I agree. And finally, we get pretty much what you were saying before is we get a season ending now coming up next.
Yeah, finally we get another real season finale with the episode Turtle Track. And in this episode, Shredder and Krang finally are able to get back to Dimension X, get back to the Technodrome, and the turtles follow them with the help of like this little alien creature that was a prisoner of Krang. We get like a tour through Dimension X, like we had in season 4 with the Dimension X story. We see some places, we meet some stone warriors and some other alien creatures. And in the end, the turtles find the Technodrome and are really finally able to stop them. And the Technodrome gets pulled into like this hole, thanks to this giant tentacle monster. And yeah, pretty much the Technodrome gets destroyed. And this is also the final episode for Bebop and Rocksteady. We don't see them again in the series.
How'd you like this ending? I thought it was decent. I mean, because this could have actually ended the whole show then, right? I think we agreed season 7 could have been a way to end it. Season 3, I think we both agree, would have been a great way to end everything if they needed to. Not that we're unappreciative of more episodes, but just some of these season endings were better than others. And I thought this one was great. It was nice that Splinter was teaching the turtles to, do good always, and good will come back to you. Whether it's you do good for a friend and they don't return the favor, but someone else down the line will. I enjoyed that a lot. It was interesting to see the turtles kind of butt heads, so to speak, in this one, because half were on the side of their new friend and half were against him. And it turns out, hey, doing good will get you some good. So how'd you like this one as a season ending?
Yeah, as you said, I think it worked, and it could have also worked as a series finale because in the end, Shredder and Krang are defeated. The Technodrome is pretty much destroyed. So this could have been the end of it all, and yeah, it could have totally worked because next season we get someone very different.
Oh my gosh, we get someone very different. Our turtles are different. I'm not sure if they were just heavy on X-Men with mutations here. 9 years into the making, we get a new character that TMNT Dare Talk's going to introduce you to, and again, the animation looks a little bit different too, which I enjoyed season 8's animation more than season 9, but let's get right into it with the Unknown Ninja.
Yeah, this is the start of season 9. And if you think that the last season was different, boy, you're in for a treat because now it gets really different because there's so much going on here. We meet a new character called Carter, who is this teenage human boy who comes to Splinter to train from him. And he's staying with the turtles for a while. He even gets some mutagen on himself and gets an unstable mutation, which whenever it is needed or during a fight or whatever, he turns into this big yellow hulking monster. And yeah, and we also meet a completely new bad guy who is a Lord Drag and his partner in crime, High Tech. There are aliens who come to Earth, and the turtles meet him in this episode for the first time, and they fight him. But he's not defeated. He's the new big bad. And so we have so much going on. We have the turtles find out that that their mutagen became unstable over the years, and they don't yet know what it means. So we have new characters, new bad guys, and new storyline, everything new starting with this episode.
So, random question that we haven't talked about. This is just personal opinion. Because as we both know, Power Rangers was on an all-time high. They were going crazy. They had a movie that was coming out. I believe these episodes were aired in 1995. The first season of Power Rangers was 93. Second was 94. And their main villain was Lord Zed. So do you think, in your own personal opinion, that had something to do with trying to come up with a new character with a Lord in their name?
Possible. I'm not sure. I never heard anything official about this, but it's possible. It's like an inspiration, like trying to, because Lord sounds like really serious, and could be a coincidence. I'm not totally sure.
Okay, gotcha. And I just love the voice actor of Lord Dreg as well. I think that gentleman did a fantastic job. He was also Magneto in the X-Men Legends video game, the first one for PlayStation 2. I love that game, and I was like, I know that guy's voice, so I had to go back and find him out. So we're getting weird here. There's apparently a new mutation that the Turtles are going to slowly start getting into, and let's get right into the next one here with Dreg of the Earth.
Yeah, in this episode, Drake becomes a very interesting bad guy because he shows himself to the world. He's like, hey, I'm an alien, I'm here. And he tells the world he's here to help. He wants to help the people of Earth. And the people of Earth, they are really happy to see him. There's really, yeah, finally someone who wants to help us. But the turtles are the only ones who know the truth that he is actually a bad guy, wants to take over the world, and he's only pretending to be a good guy. So this is the start, and this is like the start of the storyline that runs for the rest of the season, where the turtles try to expose Drag to the world as the bad guy that he is. But everyone thinks that the turtles are the bad guys because they fight Drag, who's the good guy. Yeah. And as I said, this is unusual and very interesting because so far it was always like the bad guys, Shredder, Krang, whoever, they are attacking the turtles, they are fighting to take over the world, and everybody knew that they are the bad guys. To like have a bad guy now who tells the people that he's a good guy really changes the whole story.
And it slowly turns into the Carter show for season 9 because it is all about Carter, who turns into like someone who looks like Goro from Mortal Kombat, just without the 4 arms, with his new build and his dark hair. And now we get into an episode that I think we both thought was pretty cool. I think we both enjoyed this character. I don't know if any of these characters have appeared in the Saturday Morning Adventures series yet, but I kind of would like to see Medusa pop up again somewhere in the episode Wrath of Medusa.
Yeah, the only one that I remember right off the top of my head was Drake, who had like a little cameo in the Saturday Morning Adventures. But yeah, Wrath of Medusa. In this episode, Drake hires a bounty hunter called, or a headhunter called Medusa, who is this alien lady, and she's going after the turtles, and that's, well, pretty much the whole story. But I really enjoyed it because I think Medusa was a really cool character with like this Punisher style, with all these weapons that she had on her, and she's a strong fighter, and she was a real threat to the turtles. So it's an enjoyable episode, I guess.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty neat as well. Very entertaining. Now we get really crazy here. This is not that I'm appalled by it. It's just it just takes a while to get used to. It's like, you know, when you see somebody with a new haircut or a new piercing or a new tattoo. Now we get almost full blown with the turtles here in the new mutation.
Yeah, in this episode, the turtles' mutation really gets out of hand, and they go through a secondary mutation, which turns them into like giant turtle mutants. Like they become really, really big, really, really strong, like the Hulk version of the classic turtles. And but they are becoming really clumsy and a little bit dumber through this mutation, but they still have to go after Drag. And there's also like this B plot with an alien creature that escapes into the city, like this slug-like creature that starts to eat like, well, everything, like it starts to eat buildings and stuff. And yeah, Carter is trying to stop it because with everything that it eats, it evolves, it transforms, like it gets wings, it gets bigger, and so on and so forth. So we have like these two storylines: the turtles trying to go after Drag with the new mutation, and on the other hand, we have Carter going after this creature. And it's an entertaining episode, and yeah, like we finally see what this whole new mutation thing means for the turtles.
I agree all the way. And now we're going to get a nice little cameo here that you actually pointed out in regard that I caught. But this is another good trivia question here in our next episode. Again, it's basically the Carter show. But this one was pretty cool in the showdown.
Yeah, as you mentioned that it turned into the Carter show, I remember that I've seen Michelle Ivy. I remember that she said one time that if there's one thing that she didn't really like, it was season 9 and 10 of this cartoon, because there was so much focus on Carter. Anyway, let's get into the showdown. In this episode, we meet a new character who is like a rival of Carter, called Chet McCabe, who was actually voiced by Robbie Rist, the original Michelangelo from the 90s movies. So nice little cameo there. And Drake wants to get rid of the turtles once again, so he sends some of the turtles, Carter and this Chet kid, to a different planet where they have to fight in like this gladiator style in this arena. They have to fight, so there's a lot of fighting in this episode. And the other turtles to try to get the turtles back, so like everybody comes back to Earth to stop Drag, because Drag actually wants to get some mutagen in his hands to turn his techno warriors into like mutated warriors, like stronger, bigger, better, and yeah, it's an interesting episode, I gotta say.
Yeah, it was fun. Like I say, all I remember is Robbie Rich just saying, "You stinking coward." I wonder if he enjoyed actually playing a villain who kind of turns into maybe like an anti-hero because his character ends up staying at the planet when it's their chance to go home. But yeah, you are correct. Yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out our friend Michelle Ivy's Cowabunga Corner, I'd like you to look up an episode on her YouTube channel with a great interview from David Wise, the writer of many of our favorite episodes here on this Turtles 87 series. And pretty much there was so much focus on Carter, and he didn't even really appreciate the character. And the Turtles also argued a lot. If it's a real fantastic interview, it's about a good maybe 30 to 50 minute watch. It's a great listen, and yeah, I agree. I mean, just it's not that we don't like this guy, but it's just who are you? It's like, if anything, I don't think anybody would have been opposed to this if it was more focused on April. We're familiar with her character. She's the Turtles' best friend. You know, if she had I don't know if they would have thrown her in for a mutation, even though she had a couple episodes where she was a fish, she turned into a cat. I think the audience would have appreciated it a little bit more than this new Carter character. But here comes a little funky one here with Split Second. Tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah, where we meet a new bad guy called Kronos, who is like this guy obsessed with time, and he's causing trouble for the turtles all over town. The turtles try to stop him because he's like doing all these crimes, all these time-based crimes, like changing the time on a bank safe so it opens up, or he's fooling around with the time on a subway train, so they almost crash and stuff like this, and the turtles try to stop him. Actually, I enjoyed the background of this character, of this bad guy. He was really crazy, but near the end, we find out why, because we get like a little flashback that the turtles were the ones who stopped him when he was not yet Kronos, when he was a normal guy, but he was stealing money, and the turtles stopped him and left him in a clock tower for the police to find. But the police didn't find him for hours, and the ticking of the clock tower drove him crazy. So he's like really a madman. I mean, this could like be the origin story of a Batman villain. And for this, I really liked him. In the end, it actually turns out that behind all this was Drag. Like Drag was providing him with weapons and stuff to cause trouble for the turtles. And yeah, and in the end, even Drag was like the one, hey, I defeated Kronos. It was not the turtles. I'm the good guy here. So in the end, like the turtles were well defeated once again, outsmarted by Drag, which, as I said before, is a very interesting new storyline.
Yeah, the news team is pretty much gone. April is, I think, like you were saying before, kind of works like almost like an independent contractor. I think something like that. Christian can
freelance reporter. Yeah.
That's correct. Okay, so yeah, so she's Channel 6 is no more. These mutations for the turtles are getting really weird. Sometimes there's like superhuman, like Spider-Man, like almost spots that pop out where it's just they're really big and girthy. But yeah, we're going to keep moving along here. We've got 2 more episodes left in this season, and Carter the Enforcer.
This is actually a favorite of mine of this season because I think the story is really cool. It's really interesting, and it gets really dark. I mean, for the series, because in this episode we meet 2 new characters, Lando and Merrick, who are guys who come from the future. And they come from a future where Drag actually was able to take over the world. And he did it with the help of Carter, who is, Drag's enforcer. And so they say that Carter is actually working for Drag all this time. He was like a spy. And the turtles don't believe them at first, but then they meet like this bad Carter. And then over the course of the story, they find out that it was not the real Carter. It's like a robotic doppelganger, and the turtles stop him. And well, in the end, the turtles like swear that they will stop Drag. They will stop this future from happening, and so this whole comes full circle. And I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed the storyline there.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one too, because like you say, those characters actually, I believe, come back in the next season too, I believe. And here we go now with, again, which could have been a series finale here in Doom Quest.
Yeah, this is the season finale of season 9. And in this episode, another alien comes to Earth called Doomquest, who's this very powerful guy who even Drake is afraid of. And Drake and Doomquest, they start fighting each other because they have like this powerful crystals and a vortex crystal, if I remember correctly. And the turtles are caught in the middle of this and have to stop two bad guys. In the end, the turtles are able to defeat Doomquest, and Drag escapes because April and the turtles are finally able to show the world who Drag really is, because April was able to record Drag talking about taking over the world. So now the people finally see that Drag is not a good guy, and he escapes into space. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of this storyline.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess we are going to go into one more season. Maybe it is good because we do get some closure on the Turtles mutation. We get a nice return from somebody, so it's not really closure from two other villains, but it is nice to see them again. And let's get right into it, friends. Season 10 has been a great journey so far. Let's bring it home.
Yeah, season 10 starts with the episode The Return of Drag. So yeah, Drag comes back, but he's got a new partner called Mame, who because he got rid of High Tech because he was annoyed with him, and Mame was like the new guy with some new henchmen, and he comes back to Earth. And at the end of last season, the turtles found out that shards of the vortex crystal could stabilize their mutation. So they use some of this to stabilize the mutation, so they don't turn into like these hulking monsters again. But through some interference by Drag, it doesn't work on Leonardo, and he turns into an even bigger Hulk monster, an even mindless monster who starts rampaging through the city, and the turtles have to stop him.
Correct, Amundo. I do want to point out one thing too, guys, that I forgot. Season 9 is the end of Rob Paulson as Raphael. We get a new character. The reason I think they have a new character in season 10 too is Rob Paulson voiced Dreg's, I don't know if I want to call it like sidekick, I guess. And Cam Clark is the voice of the new one here in the American version. Also, if you guys do get a chance, check out season 9's season finale, because the Raphael character looks like he's waving. I know he's supposed to be calling for a cab, but I still believe, and I'll have to ask Rob Paulson one day if I ever get to see him in person again, is that his send-off. It looks like he's like waving goodbye almost as a thank you for voicing the Turtles for a long time. And now we get into another, getting very close actually, to a little cool mini-series coming up with Beginning of the End. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah. So all of these episodes, they're like the first 5 episodes, they flow into each other, because the beginning of the end takes off right where the last episode ends, with Leonardo still being this big hulking mutant. And yeah, once again, the turtles try to turn him normal. At first it works, but then he transforms back into his giant mutant monster version, and he starts causing trouble again. Turtles try to stop him again. Then Drag also interferes because he wants to keep the turtles busy while he tries to create something like a teleportation device. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. Turtles try to stop Leonardo from destroying everything throughout the city.
Yeah, which is a very, and I believe there's like a hockey arena too. There's one spot that just, it never made any sense to me. I forget if it was in like the virtual test that Carter was doing to see if it was going to work, but to see Leonardo shoot fire like he was a dragon, I don't know why in the world they did it, but I don't know, it's like, what the heck was that? So again, it's not that they didn't care, but they were just like trying anything they could. They didn't want to throw in the towel, but this is the last season. I also found it interesting too that these are shorter than anime seasons. Anime seasons usually run for, I would say 10, 12, maybe 24 to 26 episodes. And all three of these were only 8. But here comes a nice little 3-part miniseries that I thought was very intense. You got The Power of 3, A Turtle in Time, and Turtles to the Second Power. Take us through these 3 episodes.
These 3 episodes, they are really something because Drag brings back none other than Krang and Shredder. But not to really work with him, but to take their powers because he wants to become more powerful. And so he brings Krang and Shredder to Earth. And he also is even able to take some of the turtle power from the turtles to make him super strong. He takes like Krang's brain power, like turns him into super smart. And so this is pretty much the start of it. Like the turtles, they get really, really weak. They need an energy transfusion, but only other mutant turtles can give that to them. So what happens then? Well, Carter calls Lando and Merrick to go through time, and they go back to the end of season 8 to bring back the 4 turtles from that time to the present time. So now we have 8 turtles overall. And they give the turtles their energy transfusion, and now 8 turtles are working together to stop Drag, because Drag has this teleportation device, which he wants to use to like teleport parts of the sun into cities, like burn cities to the ground until the world accepts him as the new leader. And so 8 turtles have to fight against Drag. And Shredder and Krang are also in the mix there. So it's like all-out war. It's really crazy. And in the end, Drag is defeated and is sent through the portal. And Krang and Shredder, I was never really sure what happened to them. I mean, I guess they were sent back to Dimension X, but we never saw them being like thrown into a portal or teleported away. We saw them like at the end fight, they fall on the teleportation device, but they were not zapped away or anything. So we cannot be totally sure of it. But still, this whole thing, this 3-parter, could have worked so great as a series finale because all the storylines come together. We have Drag, we have Krang, we have Shredder, and in the end, even Carter goes to the future with Lando and Merrick because his mutation cannot really be cured. So like, hey, let's go to our time. Maybe we can do something about it there. So it would have come full circle, but we have 3 more episodes.
Yeah, I agree all the way. I did want to point out too the relationship between Shredder and Krang here, guys. Shredder cares for Krang. I don't know if it's because he just needs him, but Krang is in really bad shape in this episode, and you'll see Shredder has to help him a couple times. Christian and I were talking also yesterday about this, and he thought it was kind of bizarre how Krang's head would pop up when he was talking to Dreg because Dreg like took all their intelligence, which was kind of very silly as well. I agree all the way. This would have been a great way to end the show. There's a couple cool things in the final episode, but this next one, I guess this is what a lot of fans call filler. This is a character that I think we could have dealt without the big bad Glob Father. You know, we've had Big Louie, we've had Pinky McFingers, Mad Dog McMutt, and now we get a gangster. Even Don Tritelli would have been a cooler guy than the Glob Father. How did you like this wacky episode, Mobster from Dimension X?
Yeah, I mean, coming from this big 3-parter to Mobster from Dimension X, like, okay. I mean, Drag is the one who hires the Globfather, who's like this green slime dude who's like dressed in gangster clothes. And he goes after this computer, this protein computer that like when can control every computer on Earth through mind power. So of course, Drag wants to get his hands on it. And yeah, the turtles, of course, have to stop them. And in the end, the Globfather gets sucked up through a vacuum, and Drag escapes. So yeah, it's this is actually really the only one-off story in the season. I gotta say, it's like okay, it's a start, it has an end, that's it. If you skip this episode, you don't really miss much, I gotta say.
Yeah, correct. And there was a little annoying kid. The kid was annoying, in my opinion, just because I felt bad for him because he kept trying to give ideas and Donatello would blow him off. And it's like, come on now. This poor kid needs some love. He finally gets some at the end of the show. But yeah, this is just a weird one where it's like, if you need to skip an episode, you're really not going to miss anything. Now, here come two other ones. And even this one also, I felt could have been a series ending. The day the Earth disappeared, I was very happy with Splinter getting heavily involved in this one.
Yeah, this is a good episode because Drag appears. Drag opens like this black hole that should swallow up the Earth, and the turtles, of course, try to stop him, but they get sent through. They get sent to different alien planets. They split up, and they have to find a way to get back. And as you mentioned, Splinter's also there. He gets onto Drag's spaceship, and he tries to find a way to get his turtles back. And he's like really ninja there. He's sneaking around the spaceship. He's fighting some of these Batman henchmen, and it's really enjoyable because there's once again the turtles, they're like split up. They have to fight their way through this alien world. All the while, Splinter is trying to find a way to get him back, and everybody is doing something in this episode, and that's why I really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought this one was fantastic. This was also on the DVD of. This was actually pretty weird here for in the States. It took us forever to get to season 10 on DVD out here, guys. It took almost long as it was a running series. The 2003 DVD we had, you got, I believe you received bonus episodes. There were 4 of them. And I believe it was the first 2 from season 10. And you also got, I believe, The Day the Earth Disappeared. And I think Mobster from Dimension X may or may not have been on there. But it was those 4 instead of giving us Divide and Conquer. So here we are. Episode 193. This is where we come home to an ending finally. We've seen it all. We've had pizza jokes, nunchucks to grappling hooks. Tons of characters. This is it. Divide and conquer. What happens here?
Yeah, this is it. Really, after 10 years, the series finale. And at its time, TMNT was the longest running American cartoon on the air. I mean, later The Simpsons, took that title. But hey, we got 10 seasons after this show. It's amazing. It's incredible. And this is now the final episode where Drag is now really going crazy. He's really obsessed with taking out the turtles once and for all. So he absorbs the powers of different alien creatures. Like he can change his body. He can do the weird stuff. And the turtles, of course, have to fight him. And we get one last hooray to the classic seasons because the turtles have to go to Dimension X, go to the destroyed Technodrome to get Crank's android body, which we haven't seen since season 7. And they use it to fight Drag with it. And in the end, the turtles are able to throw Drag through a dimensional portal, and then we hear that the android body explodes with Drag. So in the end, I guess he got really killed, and Drag is no more. Drag is defeated, and yeah, the turtles go home, and Splinter, in his last moment, really tells the turtles, "I'm no longer your sensei. You are my equal. You can survive everything now." And yeah, there's one more joke, but for it's really a full closure episode, and yeah, it's really a good goodbye, I gotta say.
I agree as well. We had Michelangelo and Leonardo voiced by Cam Clark and Townsend Coleman in every episode, which is crazy for pretty much 10 seasons. Barry Gordon from the States pretty much did all Donatello except for a couple. Rob Paulson pretty much Raphael for seasons 1 through 9 except for one episode. Peter Renaday with Splinter. I mean, pretty cool how a lot of these voice actors stayed around for us. I would say without this show, I don't think Turtle Mania would have existed for our era. And what's crazy too is the colors for each turtle were introduced here. Who knows if we would have had a blue Leonardo or an orange Michelangelo or a purple Donatello. We don't know if that would have ever came to pass. The video games were pretty much based on this show. And even to this day, and we're recording this, guys, May 15th, 2025, this version of Turtles has not died. You see it all at Party City, birthday parties, kids' t-shirts. They still have this, they call it the Fred Wolf era look. Why is this show still, this version of Turtles still relevant to people, Christian, in your own words?
Well, I guess for most people, like people our age, it was the first exposure. For me, this show really started, and it was the reason that I became a TMNT fan. And without this show, I wouldn't be the person I am today. I wouldn't be sitting here talking turtles and still loving to talk about turtles. And yeah, this show was, as a kid, it was everything for me. I watched all these episodes over and over again, and I almost could tell you whole episodes just from my memory, rephrase everything. It was such a thing with the toys, and yeah, people still remember this. It's like these are for them the OG turtles. So this is, of course, they people when they put out new action figures or video games with Shredder's Revenge, they always go back to this classic turtles because these are the these are the turtles that everyone remembers. These are everybody feels nostalgic about them. Everybody knows the theme song. It's in everybody's brain, and so of course they always go back to this. I mean, in the newer shows like the 2012 series or Rise of the TMNT, the theme song is like a remix of the classic theme song. Like they always go back to this, and so yeah, I guess this is the reason, because it has such a cultural impact on everyone our age. And yeah, now people our age have kids and they show them these are the turtles I grew up with, and so they give it to their kids, and so it will never go away, I guess.
I believe so. We saw them come back in Turtles Forever. We saw a crossover with them in the 2012 series. If they really, really wanted to, I still say if you bring back that animation, the 4 original voice actors are still alive. I guarantee you, if they made just like a 5-part miniseries on Netflix or Hulu or wherever, Paramount Plus, just a miniseries of just based on this show, I guarantee it would go off through the roof. I'm with you all the way. This was my introduction to Turtles. I had no idea what the comic was. I enjoy the storyline here very much, written by David Wise. It's a little different than the comic, which I'm slowly starting to read, and I'm appreciating just how beautiful the Ninja Turtle franchise is. You really don't get too many spin-offs that actually work. If it wasn't for these guys too, I would not be a pizza fan as big as I am. Our family had Pizza Fridays for God knows how long when I was a kid. That was based on the Turtles. I had to have pizza. I had to get my pizza on. So any final thoughts on this show, Christian, as we bring this show in for a landing here?
Well, don't know what else to say. It's such a big thing. And as you said, if in 2027, which would have been the 4th anniversary of this show, they do something special, like a special or a mini series or anything like this, dude, that would be amazing. I would love that. And yeah, what else to say? This was the introduction for me. This was the introduction to the Turtles for a lot of fans. And yeah, there's still a lot of things that this series introduced that's still, well, how should I put it? It's fact for the Turtles, like the love for pizza, the different colored bandanas, Cowabunga, everything what introduced in this series and is still there almost 40 years later. So we have to thank this series for Turtle Mania back then. And if it wasn't for this show, I don't think the Turtles would have ever gotten as big and as much as an evergreen as it is right now. And so I'm really thankful for this show, and I always come back to it. And hey, we'll see what else we will get in the future. I'm ready for it.
I agree, my friend. I can't really put anything else in there. Good comedy, good action. You can't. Most shows last maybe 3-4 years nowadays. No other Turtle franchises lasted this long either. And if you count seasons, 2012 had a great run. 2003 also had a great run. The Rise had a decent showing. We're going to try and cover those later in later episodes here on Spotify and YouTube on Shellonomics. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this series. A big thank you to TMNT Dare Talk Christian for helping us with seasons 2 through 10. Christian, I know you have loads of episodes, breaking some of these episodes from this series even down a lot more than we have. If people want to dive deeper into those, dive into the comics, where can people find your channel?
Well, if you want to hear more of it or more of me, you can do so. My podcast is called TMNT The Talk, or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Talk. You can find me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much everywhere, or just go to the website www.tmnttalk.com. And yeah, it's a German podcast, but every second week I also put out an English episode where I mostly talk about the current comics, because IDW is doing so much good stuff nowadays. And so, hey, come on over, check it out. Maybe you enjoy it. Let me know. I'm always there to talk Turtles.
Fantastic. Good friend as always. Well, again, thank you very much, Christian. We hope to see you real soon. Thanks again, friend.
Yeah, thank you too.